Hello everybody, it is Vinny, back from a hiatus with the 7.30 Dota tier list. My initial reactions to this patch were, what the heck? Why? And I don't get it. I feel like we got this by complaining slash Ice Frog didn't want to he didn't want to patch 4TI, but people were crying, and then he came up with this. I feel like this patch doesn't make a lot of sense, mostly because it nerfed heroes that were already bad in the pro level, and it seems to have made plenty of OP heroes, so I don't really get it. But here we go, this is it, day one. Sorry, the production quality is somehow even lower than usual because I am about to go to work, so I'm making this before I have to go. You know, gotta get in there while it's hot, hot, hot. It's part of the fun, right? Having the early predictions, and we'll see how good or bad it is. Take a look at the last one if you want to see how good or bad we did on that one. I think we had some pretty. I think for the most part it was good. We had some pretty big misses in like Dragon Knight and also kind of Warlock, but then Warlock ended up getting nerfed pretty hard. So that ended up being right, and then obviously things like Hoodwink and Dawnbreaker were right at the time, but then they got buffed a lot. So I just judging by the sheer amount of imbalance already in the patch, there will 1000% be like A, B, C, and D. I'm guessing before TI. So here we go. Let's start. S tier. This is just the godly tier. These heroes will obviously be nerfed 100%. We have Slark, all the spirits, and Monkey King. The Slark changes, I just immediately said, well, that's OP. And judging by the data, that is indeed very, very OP. Slark can now steal 2 agility per hit with a 20 talent, which is massive because not only is that just obviously overpowered, but his old 20 talents were shit, right? They weren't even good, so you're giving up something that hardly mattered for a godly talent now. That's huge. Your self damage was reduced by 40%. 20%, but it was half, so blah, blah, blah. In total, it's 40%. That's huge. Just a 40% buff. That means you're doing to yourself about 60 less damage. 60 less damage per dark pack to yourself. You know how many dark packs you cast in a team fight? That's so much HP that you wouldn't have otherwise had on Slark. And you even got... I don't even think this is better per se, but you did get a talent at 10 to have less cooldown on Dark Pack. This just makes it all the more annoying and harder to catch. Silver Edge is now a good item finally, and I think you'll be building it on Slark almost every game. I really don't understand the Slark one per se because noobs in general really hate Slark, and some non-noobs, no offense. I'm sure all my watchers are pro. They really don't like Slark, and they made him a god, so I'm sure the crying will be legendary. And then all the spirits. I'm not happy with this. Like, the spirits have pretty much always been good, and we finally had a meta where they weren't omnipresent, but it will be back again. They all got very good buffs. The Void Spirit buffs were, I think, excessive when you think back to what he got nerfed, things like losing 2 damage and blah blah blah. Now you have 100 more magic damage on your ult, of which you have 2 charges. Huge buff to the Aether Remnant. Straight up 20% reduction in cooldown on your stones on Earth Spirit. It's going to be really good with the Shard. Ember Spirit buffs. Storm. Big buffs for Storm. Monkey King. Monkey King I read and I was like, yep, he is definitely back. And I'm going to pull up at the same time the patch. So if we take a look at Monkey King, okay, I guess in a way this is improved production quality because we did not have this before. Monkey King, Tree Dance, Cast Point, and Travel Speed increased, huge buff. Lifesteal increase, big buff. And then your Shard is now very abusable by pro players, especially. This is going to be abused hard. An 8-second cooldown to disjoint projectiles. This is, for example, like a 100% immunity to Wraith King stun because the cooldown is also 8. Yeah, this is really good. And the stun I don't think I would classify that as better than 20 attack speed. Sometimes it will be, whatever. And this, however, though, this is big. 2 Jingu mastery charges, especially if you take the more damage on Jingu at 15. I think you'll still usually take the cooldown on your Q, but these buffs were very, very big. And his win rate is excessively high, like 58+%. Again, this is first day only data, but 58+% at pro level. Okay, Naga I didn't put an S. I kind of wanted to, but I have a history of putting Naga just a little too high a lot of the time. And I don't think it's necessarily because she doesn't deserve S. It's just because nobody plays this hero. Like, how many people do you know that actually enjoy playing Naga? Like, not me. So, because she barely ever sees play, I will, no matter how good she is almost, I'm going to put her in A. Early signs that her win rate is going absurdly high, way too high. So yeah, I feel comfortable in A. It could end up being an S for TI because obviously the pro teams will actually not hesitate to play Naga. Dark Willow, small nerf, but whatever. This is still going to be one of the best 4 options you have. Lycan, huge buff. It might not have seemed so big on the surface, but I'm telling you that this is huge and the early win rates reflect it. It was mostly for me actually this talent right here with the summon wolves damage. This is what I just said, okay, that's too much. Like at level 10, that is so early to get this much damage on your summons. Buffs here. This is gonna be like how Shadow Shaman wards work, where the creeps are not gonna attack them. This is, you know, if they're unanswered, this is a pretty decent buff. Crippling towers, that's big. I mean, the towers don't have plus attack speed, so you really notice. Or wait, does cripple still lower attack speed? Okay, ignore that. Either the towers will take extra damage or they will have their attack speed lowered as well. Whatever. Either way, extra damage or also lower attack speed. Whatever. It's going to be good no matter what it is. So, Lycan definitely back. Disruptor, huge buff. Willing to say it's going to be super back. Wind is the same hero, which was already good, plus a much better shard, so I'm willing to say A. Coddle got a gigantic buff. I really hated Coddle. Last patch I thought it was super trashy, but now you only have to channel 3 seconds for a 525 damage Illuminate. Yes, thank you. I will gladly take that. Right now, I still have Gyro in A. His win rate has decreased, but it is still good, and I think it will go up over time. His talent's got overall he got a very significant nerf. However, his talent's got a very significant buff. And now the super flat cannon build is back. So I'm willing to say that. Luna, the nerfs were small, and her talent on level 10 is super good now. You'll have to give up the stun duration, which is not cool, but I'm willing to say it. Medusa nerfs were almost meaningless. Quap, huge buff on Quap. 3 damage is crazy for a mid hero. And now her dagger will heal her, which I think is a huge buff for Quap in general, but especially right-click Quap. Abaddon, don't really understand the point of this. I thought they didn't really want this hero to be such a good 5, but they buffed the 5 aspect, nerfed the 3 aspect, whatever. Early Bane win rates are still in the garbage. However, I will go ahead and just... Bane is actually pretty hard to play, and I will go ahead and put him in B. I hate Bane, don't get me wrong. I hate him more than the next guy, and I think he's really bad. But they've buffed this hero so much because it was so bad that I'm willing to say B. Bounty got a host of changes. Think he's cool now. Doing better. NP, big buffs. Jack, overall, big buff. Axe is dead as a carry, which I don't like. I like that there was more ways to play him. But he's still a good offlaner. Dazzle support is dead. I don't know why they did this, but they want you to play Core Dazzle now, but I actually think it's fine. I actually think Core Dazzle is fine. Darkseer might rise just because... Now, I thought overall he got a nerf because they reduced the duration of wall by 15 seconds. But the shard is broken now. And early win rates would indicate that he should actually be even higher, but we'll see. Void changes make you think that they're trying to make 5 Void not a meme. Phoenix... Big nerfs, but also big buff in the AoE of the spirit, so whatever, I'll leave it where he was. The Veno changes, I was like, what? I don't like this, but Overall, it makes him much more relevant late game and much more relevant against tanks because he's doing percent base damage on his ulti now. But just to give you an idea, at level 1, a hero has to have 1,000 HP for it to deal the same amount of damage. If they have more, and by level 1 I mean level 1 ulti, they have to have more for it to do more, and if they have less than 1,000, it will be doing less, obviously. So, okay, whatever. Shaman, we're finally into a, this comes and it goes, right? We're finally in a Shaman above Lion meta. Lion took some pretty fat nerfs. Shaman took some pretty fat buffs. A took huge nerfs. Bristleback, overall, I think it was no change. Willing to put AM in an okay spot right now. Willing to put Jug in an okay spot. OD Orb hitting Roche is, I think, pretty darn big. SF Shard seems good now, but why do people keep playing Magic SF? I think they need to stop. I think they really need to stop playing Magic SF and start playing right-click SF more. Whatever. I think Alk should be better now. And this is really the biggest surprise, is Pudge. Pudge has actually found himself into the same tier as Mirana, and that's because Pudge is Mirana now. You can now jungle as Pudge. You will be hooking the big creep, and that's how you'll be getting your experience as Pudge. I think this is actually a huge deal because Pudge falls behind easily and a lot, especially as support Pudge. This is a big buff for any type of Pudge, but, you know, whatever, man. I guess his win rate went up, and I think he's better now. I think overall it's still going to be terrible to have on your team just because the average Pudge picker is not good. But if you actually are one of the good Pudge pickers, then okay, go for it, I guess. Here we have some heroes that mostly are really bad. I don't understand why this is filled with a lot. Okay, so DK they wanted to kill, Nyx, big nerf, Sky still trash, Lich still trash, Spirit Breaker nerfed, but why? Witch Doctor nerfed, but why? Kunkka nerfed, but why? These heroes were not at all dominant at a high level. I don't understand. I really don't get it. I hate these changes. Slardar nerfed. Again, why? Viper might still be C. He's going to farm way worse now with Nether Toxin being super nerfed. But his Q got buffed again, so we'll see. And then in the absolute trash can, we've got Omni Knight and Clinks. So Omni Knight was already really bad. And then they nerfed the core aspect of Omni Knight, in my opinion. Support Omni I don't like. But here you go. You lost a lot of strength, gained some agility. Alright, whatever. Gained some strength on Heavenly Grace. This is pretty good. Gained a significant amount of lost a significant amount of cooldown on Guardian Angel. Pretty good. Hammer of Purity destroyed. This is what made core Omni Knight. And they just destroyed it. So I don't think with a 10-second cooldown that this debuff, reducing outgoing damage, matters that much. Because, well, support Omni Knight is not getting the shard, nor is he getting close because this hero can't farm. So I feel like Omni is garbage. And then Clinks is dead. He was already really bad, but now he is just completely dead. The thing that they replaced Strafe with is terrible. I don't understand why they always do this to Clinks. He's gotten so many changes. So there you go. You have this thing, which is so much worse. Clinks is like a pick-off. He's just an invis pick-off type of guy. Or a guy that just kills towers, right? Without Strafe, you are not that anymore. You are not picking people off. They nerfed the shard build. Again, just randomly removing damage. I don't understand why. So, goodbye, Clinks. Alright, everybody. Thank you for watching. I gotta go to work, man. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with this S tier? I feel like this is kind of a lot of heroes to have an S tier. So overall, I feel like the patch is poorly balanced. And, okay. Sorry, Dawnbreaker and Hoodwink. Dawnbreaker and Hoodwink are going to belong in A. Hoodwink really did not get nerfed, in my opinion. And then Dawnbreaker got a tiny buff, despite already being good. So we have A for Hoodwink and Dawnbreaker. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I will see you in the next one.